The last example, example 10 for lesson 4, introduces another formula that calculates a different kind of percentage. Whoops, sorry about that. So this is called percent increase or percent decrease. So for this formula, we are not going to use the percent equation or the percent proportion. We have yet another formula called percent of increase or decrease. And if you're asked to find that in the problem, then you're going to use this formula. So you take the new value, you subtract the old value, and the parentheses are here because they're very important. You've got to do this first before you divide. So you can either put the parentheses in your calculator and you enter the whole formula as it is, or you can hit enter before you divide to find the new value minus the old value. And here's an example. In example 10, Susan worked 35 hours at her job last week. This week, she worked 20 hours. What was the percent decrease in the number of hours she worked from last week to this week? And our rounding instructions this time say to the nearest hundredth of a percent. Now, there is our clue right there that I underlined. Instead of just the percentage, it's the percent decrease. So that's how you know when to switch to this formula. All right, so we need to identify the new value and the old value. I'm going to abbreviate those NV and OV for new value and old value. So this week as opposed to last week. So last week she worked 35. That would be the old value because it happened before. This week, that's the newest number of hours she worked. So our percent decrease, and I'm going to use some abbreviations here, remember, is new value minus old value divided by old value. It's a good idea to always write the formula before you use it so you don't forget the formula. It kind of helps it commit to your memory. And by the way, I did forget, you do have to multiply by 100 because this is a percentage and we need to change it to a percent. So using this formula, we're going to have 20 minus 35 over 35. Notice that with this formula, the amount that you subtract and the amount that you divide by are always going to be the same because it's old value here and old value down here. Another thing to notice that if it's percent decrease, the new value is going to be less than the old value because it's going down, which will create a negative value in your numerator. So now if you do negative 15 divided by 32, you get negative 0.42857, We multiply that by 100 to change it to a percentage. It's going to be negative 42.857, Notice that multiplying by 100 moved the decimal 2 places to the right. And then if I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth of a percent, well, that's 2 places. Remember, it's tenths, hundredths. The number after the hundredths is a 7, which is 5 or bigger, which means that 5 is going to bump up to a 6. So negative 42.86%. However, if the question asks for the percent decrease, the negative sign is kind of translated into the word percent decrease. So the percent decrease, we wouldn't say it's negative, we would just say it decreased by 42.86%. But it's good to know that if it is a decrease, your answer will be negative, and if it's an increase, your answer will be positive. And that's how you use that formula.